The book of First Corinthians. Imagine a city humming with energy, a crossroads of the ancient world, where sea traders, Roman officials, and philosophers all cross paths. This is Corinth, a bustling, wealthy, and wildly diverse port city. And in the middle of it all, a small, passionate, and deeply flawed community is trying to figure out what it means to follow Jesus. Their story, and a crucial letter written to them, is captured in the book of First Corinthians. You'll find First Corinthians in the New Testament, right after the book of Acts. That placement is intentional. Acts tells the story of how the Christian movement exploded across the Roman Empire, and First Corinthians shows us what that looked like on the ground. Messy, complicated, and intensely human. It's less a theological textbook and more like reading someone's mail, a direct intervention into a community spinning out of control. The letter comes from the perspective of an apostolic founder, traditionally the Apostle Paul. The voice is passionate, sometimes frustrated, but always deeply pastoral. It's like a parent writing to a brilliant but reckless child, pleading with them to remember who they are. The letter isn't just a list of rules. It's a heartfelt argument for a better way to live together, a way rooted in the story of Jesus.
So what was going on in Corinth? The church was brilliant, but it was fractured. People were splitting into fan clubs following their favorite celebrity teachers. They were arguing over who was more spiritual, suing each other in public courts, and blurring the lines between their new faith and the city's anything-goes culture. The very things that made Corinth vibrant, its diversity and intellectual energy, were also tearing this young church apart. The letter confronts this chaos head-on. It moves systematically through the community's problems. First, the divisions. The author asks a devastatingly simple question: is Christ divided? Then it dives into moral confusion, questions about marriage, and even debates about what food is okay to eat. A major section addresses their worship services, which had become chaotic showcases for spiritual status rather than moments of shared reverence. And out of this catalog of problems, two of the most powerful ideas in the entire Bible emerge. First, the idea of the church as a body. Each person, no matter how different, is a vital part.
The eye can't say it doesn't need the hand. It's a beautiful metaphor for unity in diversity. Then, after discussing spiritual gifts, the author hits pause and delivers chapter 13, the famous passage about love. It's often read at weddings, but in its original context, it was an emergency brake for a community that had forgotten the most important thing. Love, the letter argues, is the only measure of true spirituality. Finally, the letter pivots to the ultimate hope, the resurrection. Some in Corinth were doubting it, influenced by Greek philosophies. The author argues that without the resurrection, the entire Christian faith is pointless. It is the foundation of their hope, the guarantee that death and brokenness don't get the final word. First Corinthians is a raw, honest look at the struggle to build a genuine community. It connects the grand story of Jesus to the nitty-gritty reality of human relationships. It reminds us that faith isn't about having all the right answers, but about learning how to love each other through our disagreements and imperfections. It's a timeless guide for anyone trying to build something beautiful in a broken world.